Well, good afternoon, everyone. First and foremost, I want to reiterate my thanks to the outstanding legal team in the Attorney General's office, to the great litigators, the great staff, all the people who have worked so hard on this case and so many others over the last month, opposing the continuing unlawful, unconstitutional, and mean orders from President Trump. I am immensely grateful to have such a talented law firm on behalf of the state of Washington and the people we represent. More importantly, I want to thank all the people who are here standing behind us today, all of the people, the families, the children, the medical providers who helped lend their voices to this effort to demonstrate to the court that what the president did was unlawful. And we did not get a ruling from the bench today, but I feel very confident based on the strength of the arguments that were made today, the questions from the bench, and what we've seen previously, that we will continue to prevail in this matter. We have a lot of work ahead, however. No matter what happens today, this is really a continuing saga to ensure that we have justice for people in this state and all across this country. And I'm so thankful for the work here and for the other states that have joined this effort, but we have more work ahead. So thank you again. Happy to take your questions.
Do you anticipate a ruling by the end of the day in writing? Because the TRO will expire at some point, correct?
I've been a lawyer long enough to never predict what a judge may or may not do, but the temporary restraining order expires at midnight. So the judge will either let that expire, extend that order, or issue a preliminary injunction. We obviously hope that the court will issue a preliminary injunction.
It appeared the U.S. was caught on their heels a little bit in trying to articulate a defense of this. Do you think they'll come back with something more specific and targeted?
Well, I don't really want to focus on the arguments by the individual lawyers in this case. This case is about the president. This case is about the unjust action by the president of the United States. And it really is disappointing that we continually have to come to court to protect the people from their own president. And time again, we will do that. But obviously, we think the arguments that are made by the Department of Justice on behalf of the President of the United States are weak and well-founded, but we have to continue to fight that every step of the way.
Attorney General, can you explain the argument and discussion about why just the 4 states are involved in this, why this is you're not seeking a national judge?
Well, look, I only speak for the state of Washington and the Attorney General's office here. I'm really happy to be joined in this effort by Oregon, Minnesota, and recently Colorado. But every state's got to make their own choice, and every state is impacted a little bit differently. We led here in Washington because of Washington's nationwide leading effort around transgender healthcare, the outstanding work done by both our private and our public institutions on this issue, and the people that were impacted. But every state's got to make their own choice, and the judge can issue the type of ruling that she thinks is appropriate based on the relief that we've sought.
Is there a plan B should the order expire and there's no decision, or they rule in the administration's favor?
Well, look, if the judge lets the order expire or the Department of Justice prevails, then the healthcare providers are going to have to respond appropriately to that based on their own analysis. We feel confident based on where we are thus far and the types of arguments that were made today that we won't face that possibility.
If I could clarify, do you expect the White House to come back with a more refined, more specific executive order? It seems like you could almost argue this was written intentionally broad.
Well, look, I've also been around long enough to not predict what the White House might do. And what we are seeing is recklessness, sloppiness, bad intent, and time again, the president acts unconstitutionally. So I have no confidence that they'll find a way to make what is blatantly unconstitutional look a little better.
Attorney General, on a separate related matter, you filed a complaint on Wednesday regarding transgender military service and transgender military service. Can you explain what the complaint is in that filing?
Well, we, along with many other states, filed an amicus brief opposing the efforts to limit people from serving their country. And we can talk about that brief in detail later, but the idea that you would prevent healthy, willing Americans who want to put on a uniform and literally risk their life for America, and they would be denied that opportunity, I find personally offensive, not only as the Attorney General, but as a former Army officer, and I'm really confident that we will prevail in that matter. Any further questions? Thank you all to everyone here, I appreciate it.